Take this quick quiz. Guess which one of these webs is made by a spider that is not on drugs? The answer is A. Marijuana affects your timing, attention, motor skills, judgment, and it may cause you to do things that you wouldn't normally do. Marijuana impacts your thinking skills while you are high and long term. It's associated with depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts. Also, smoking pot can hurt your grades and it can reduce your chance of graduating. Marijuana can cause you to feel less motivated and it makes it harder to find a job. Lastly, it can lead to increased absences, tardiness, accidents, workers' comp claims, and job turnover.
What's most important when we talk about young people is that they have their entire life ahead of them. And as a young person, if they pick up a bad habit in the beginning, I think it's going to go with them for the rest of their life.
It's important for other youth to be substance-free because they don't know what the drug is going to do to their body. They could have a seizure. It could mess up anything in their body and they would never know.
It honestly affects their entire future. It's not just that moment. It's not just that fun time. It's gonna lag on.
We are the future and we need to be the ones who make the right decisions and stand up and make a change in the world.
Check out these other facts about marijuana. Smoking pot reduces IQ by 8 points by age 38. When you smoke and drive, it doubles the risk of you getting into a car accident. Marijuana quadruples your risk of having a heart attack an hour after you use it. In 2010, there were over 450,000 visits to the emergency room because of marijuana. And you might think you're okay physically, but marijuana can impair your decision-making, concentration, and memory.
Some of the youth in our community and even parents are under the assumption that they can purchase products through a nutritional store or at a drugstore that will flush or clean illegal drugs or products that they have used out of their system, so they will then pass a drug test. Nothing is further from the truth.
When we choose to hire a new person, it is just absolutely amazing how many young people can't pass the drug test because of marijuana in their system. And if they're going to want a job, they're going to have to quit, smoking marijuana long before they ever go in for a job interview.
In my work, I see drug tests every day with results where the urine might be clean from illegal drugs, but there are other products in there that show that the urine has been tampered with. Oftentimes in a pre-employment situation, the company will not even retest that individual. They feel that it's, kind of a red flag behavior, and they just simply dismiss the employee. They don't ever hire them.
I would say as a business owner, if you're an active user, you don't have any future with my business.
Honestly, you can never go back from it, but you can always try and redeem yourself. And yeah, it wasn't the best idea to do the drug or the substance, but you can always make things right now. You can always change your life and get back on the right path.
At one point in your life, you're just going to have to say, this isn't going to make it. I'm better than this, and I want to provide more for my family. So you're just going to have to stop.
Once you've decided not to use, drugs or alcohol, your life becomes much, much better and cleaner.
In a 2011 Stark County Health Department report of over 4,000 students, 55% never drank, 85% never used marijuana, and 95% never used illegal drugs.
When I was a prevention educator, I spent a lot of time with teens talking about how they view substance use. We really want to make sure that when we're talking about substance use with teens, that they understand the difference between prescription medication that's prescribed to them versus prescription medications prescribed to other people, and how they can alter a teen depending on who they are. For one example, a lot of our teenagers are being prescribed medication for ADHD, and what we're seeing is that a lot of our athletes are finding that if they want to study longer or they want to succeed in school, that they are taking prescription medications from other teens. And what they are failing to understand is that taking prescription medication that's not prescribed to you by your own doctor puts you at a much higher risk of addiction, and it is considered abusing a substance for the person giving it along with the person taking it. And so it can have long-term effects on the brain. We have seen a lot of students in this county who are starting with prescription medications, developing a tolerance to that high, and then moving on to much stronger substances because it's really hard to continuously use a prescription medication because it costs a lot of money. And so we're seeing that big transition from prescription medications onto things like heroin.
Here's another quiz. When is it safe to use prescription medications? The answer is C. Taking medication not prescribed to you is dangerous, and taking more than a directed dose of a medication can be fatal. Mixing pills with other drugs or with alcohol really increases your risk of death from accidental overdose. Abuse of prescription stimulants like Ritalin and Adderall can cause serious health problems, including panic attacks, seizures, and heart attacks.
I think as parents, what we need to provide is an atmosphere that our kids are comfortable, they're learning, they're actually growing, they're getting to do what's fun, but not doing it in a way that's going to be destructive.
My message to parents would be to never give up the good fight. Always be checking their children, always be looking, at what they're doing, and always be very much involved in their life.
Just always being on it and being consistent. Don't do drugs, don't do this, don't do this. Never saying, oh, it's okay every once in a while. No, it's not. It's always got to be that consistent messaging.
I know a lot of kids at my school who only use drugs because they want to fit in and be cool, and they go and they use drugs or they go and smoke with their friends because they want to be a part of that crowd, and it's not worth it.
If you're getting pressured into doing things, you can stay away. There's other people, because the majority of teens are making the right decisions, and you can be part of that.
Honestly, coming from the youth perspective, it's just a great thing to be drug-free. You feel so happy and you're so motivated to be the best that you can be. And honestly, I've seen it come from, I have friends that have done many bad drugs, and I just see the way it affects them, and I would never want anybody else to go through that.
I guess my advice to a young person would be live their life to their fullest, live their life with wide open eyes, but always be the smart one in the group, because in every area there's always a number of students. There has to be a leader in every group, and I would encourage them to be that leader.
Things that I tell my students is that I understand that substance use in general often looks like it's just going to be a blast and a good time, but ultimately what substances do is they enable or disable a person to be able to say no. They disable a person's ability to make rational decisions, and to make sure that you are in control of yourself at all times. The safest way is to stay substance free.